Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. I've got a 5x5 puzzle to look at today, which has been recommended, and this is by, I'm saying Brigitte. I'm pretty sure that's how we pronounce this name with numbers substituted in for letters. And I think Simon has solved a number of Brigitte's puzzles on the channel, but I have never done so, so this is a chance to do so. Actually, Brigitte, I'm assuming a French pronunciation. It could be Brigitte if she was more Nordic or Germanic. I don't know. Anyway, we are going to have a look at this puzzle in a moment. It's not a 1 to 5 Sudoku, so read the rules carefully. Oh, and I'm diagnosing this image in the middle as a star in this case. Because of the rules. Anyway, I will get to those rules in a moment. I do want to say that it's pretty tough, but it's very rewarding. That's what we're hearing about the Patreon reward, April Foolery. There are bogus clues in each puzzle until the last one, and even that is pretty tough. So check it out on Patreon. It is a tough monthly reward, but there's been a lot of praise by those who've got through it, who are, I guess, more disposed to praise than other people, but there we go. Now, there are, of course, many other things on Patreon. Crosswords videos, connections videos, long solves by Simon occasionally, and it's good stuff. Also, we are streaming on Wednesday evening, aren't we? Yeah, that's coming up. So, 10 p.m. our time. So I guess I'm going to say that must be 5 p.m. New York time and 2 p.m. Los Angeles time. Anyway, if you happen to be in those time zones, and you can probably work it out from there for yourselves. And what are we doing? We're doing Monument Valley, I think. That's what Simon has... I think that's what the consensus was, frankly. He trailed it on a video, and that was what people reckoned. So, good news. And we hope to have you with us for a summer stream. I say summer because I'm actually looking out at a summery day for once, and it's been rare enough lately. Now, what else have we got going on? We've got all of our apps which do feature... Domino Sudoku, for instance, and Chess Sudoku relevant today slightly, as well as, of course, our latest Fog of War app. Did I say apps? Yes, I did. Which is available. Do check it out on Android or the App Store or indeed Steam. And there's merchandise available as well, and a link is under the video to that and to SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD. But the first link is to this puzzle called What Number Am I Thinking Of? And then 16 in brackets. Now, I don't think that is the answer to the question. I think this is Brigitte's 16th What Number Am I Thinking Of puzzle. So don't assume that 16 means anything special in the context of the puzzle. But the rules are as follows. Pick 5 digits from 1 to 9. Place those 5 digits in each row, column and box. Cells a chess king's move away from a cell marked by a star, that's this central marking, can't contain the same digit. Now I'm diagnosing that that's a star because otherwise it's not referred to in the rules, and otherwise there are no stars in the grid. So I think that is a star, and that means whatever's there can't appear in any of these cells, which are a chess king's move away. Now, digits on a grey square are even, and digits connected by a black dot, are in a 1 to 2 ratio. One is double the other. Oh, then on the actual rules of the puzzle, it says Love Brigitte. So it is the right name. And I was confident anyway. Right, so give it a try on that first link. I don't know, you can judge from the video length how hard it is. It's 5 by 5, so we only have 25 numbers to enter instead of the normal 81. That does not mean it's going to be over a third as easy as normal. Anyway, give it a try. I'm going to restart my clock now and say, let's get cracking. So, Okay, we are choosing digits from 1 to 9. So this is a normal enough. These 3 cells are in the same region. It's a normal enough black dot sequence. Now, the digits that can go on black dots are 1, 2, 4, 8, which can connect with each other in various ways. And then separately, 3 and 6 form another little black dot family. Now, what that means for this 3-cell sequence is that the central digit in the sequence is 2 or 4. And it also means that 2 and 4 must appear in that sequence because it's either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. Now that would normally be of passing interest, but in a puzzle where we've got to find which 5 digits are in the puzzle, it feels quite momentous. We now know that 2 and 4 are definitely 2 of the digits in the puzzle. Also, 1 or 8 is in the puzzle. Now, here's another interesting thought. I don't think the king's move around this is very useful unless this becomes a colouring. Wow, maybe this is a colouring puzzle. Yeah, it very likely is a colouring puzzle. Okay, the other thought I was about to have and hadn't quite formulated is that this cell is not 2 or 4 because it's in the same region as 2 and 4, which are in those cells. So this is 6 or 8. Now, if it was 8, this would have to be a 1, 2, 4 triple. We would then know 4 of the digits involved in the puzzle. What about this black dot? I'm torn between thinking it's using that, well, it could be using 2 of these digits, that one there, for instance, and that one there. It might have to be those 2 if it was using 2 of these digits, but it could also be a 3-6 pair. Although something tells me that would have to be a 6 then. It would. If that was a 3-6 pair with 1, 2, 4 here, those would be the 5 digits in use and 8 wouldn't be a digit in the puzzle. If it's not a 3-6 pair, it is selected from 1, 2, 4, 8. I don't think this proves this has to be 8. I was wondering if there was a kind of dual proof. If this, then that is an 8 for one reason. If not, then that is an 8 for another reason. Oh no, it was a 6 in the first reasoning, wasn't it? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I might now have to go back to the colouring idea. It seems the only way to use the king's move information. No, here's another thought. There's a lot of even digits in the puzzle. Ah, and here's a further thought about that. Not all the digits in the puzzle can be even. Now, I think that's an interesting thought because, well, the reason that you can't have all even digits in the puzzle is there are only 4 even digits in the allowed set, and we have 5-cell rows, columns, and regions. I'm very tempted to assume that that's the odd digit in this. Well, yeah, but then there might be 2 odd digits. Maybe that is how we approach the puzzle, is say, what if there are 2 odd digits? What if, well, only one of them, I'm considering this 5-cell row. If there are 2 odd digits, that would have to be odd. And one of these 2 would be odd, because one digit on a black dot is always even. And those 2 are even by designation. However, if there's only 1 odd digit in the puzzle, it could be there, but it could be on one of these cells. I don't know how to resolve this. I am tempted to start colouring. Colouring might be dangerous in this puzzle because I might want to turn it into parity at some point. So let's try and find 5. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on a new machine, and let's turn off the conflict checker. And let's get some better colours using Sven's marvellous system. I'll have a bright green and, well, okay, that, and then for this one, what do I use? A light blue. Yes, I like that one. Okay. So my apologies about all of that. So let's make this bright green. Now, these three have to be different according to the King's Move rule. So let's go pink, orange, dark blue. Now I was going to avoid the odd even colours, wasn't I? Pink, red, dark blue. And that's a set of 4 different digits. Now, red, interestingly, is going to touch itself by King's Move. It's only this bright green that can't touch itself by King's Move in this area. So red is going to... Oh no, I was going to say red is going to be in one of those. It's already in this central region. Red is going to be in one of those. These two are the other 2 colours. Let's call them bright green and yellow. Now, these are different from each other. If that is blue, that is the other of bright green and yellow. I don't know. Is this going anywhere? Not really. I may have chosen a very bad strategy for trying to complete the puzzle. Okay, let's wipe out the colours. It doesn't feel like that was going well. Okay, what am I going to do instead? Something with the region geometry. That would be better. That would be better. But I've got to use the black dots. And I was quite interested in this odd and even business. Maximum 2 odd digits, minimum 1. If there are 2, they both appear in this area. If that is odd, let's just think about this for a second. Let's say that is an odd digit. Never mind about how many there are. That is an odd digit. Where does that digit appear in this column then? It must appear here. Where does it appear in the bottom row? You see, once it's there, it can't be in this region anymore. Once it's there, it can't be in this region. Where does it appear in the bottom row? There, where we know it would be a 1. If that is an odd digit, it's a 1. That's quite interesting. Where does it appear in column 1 now? There. And where does it appear in the central region? There. Wow, if that is odd, it's in this shape. But if it's even, we can't assume that because it could sit there and here. And in one of those 2. Wow, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Now, if one of these is odd, can we do anything likewise? We can a bit. If one of those is odd, where does that digit appear in column 1 in one of those? Where does it appear in row 5 in one of those? Where does it appear in column 5 in one of those? Where is the 5th one in the puzzle? Now I want to say the central cell, but that is not so clear-cut this time. It wouldn't be concludable just from one of these being odd. Oh, bother, I'm no further forward, really. I feel like I'm making the right kind of questions, but not quite the specific correct one. Do bear with me while I try and figure out what to do here. Maybe, well, this 2 or 4 digit, let's call that darker green. That can't be in the centre because of the King's Move rule. Oh, so wherever this is in one of those two cells in the central region. And they stop it being here because one of them will see, whichever one is correct will see that. Is that useful? It doesn't really, even though we know a little bit more about this digit than about any other number in the puzzle. Oh, well, we know this is 6 or 8. Is that useful? Maybe it's worth ruling out or in that 1, 2, 4, 8 are all in use. And there'd be no way of ruling that out. Oh, hang on. Maybe every digit in the puzzle is a black dot digit. Now, that's an interesting thought. 8, 4, 2. If this was 2, 4, 8, that would be 6. No, let's at least think about this. I cannot just colour the whole grid from scratch. I'm pretty sure about that. I had thought that maybe that's possible just by nature of the geometry of the puzzle and the King's Move rule applying to the central cell. But I don't think that does work. So I'm going to have to think about these possibilities. If we had a 5, 7 or 9 in the puzzle, which are the non... Oh, well, we know exactly where it would go in the top row. It couldn't go on the black dot or in the even cells. It would go there. And then we worked out. Ah, bingo. Right. I did that earlier, didn't I? I said if that was odd. Yes, I worked out that if it was odd, it would go... Right. It would go in those places. And that because it went here, it would be a 1. So if that was a 5, 7 or 9, the puzzle would fail. Because that would be 5, 7 or 9 in the column, that would be 5, 7 or 9 in the row, and that's impossible. Well, basically there'd be nowhere for 5, 7 or 9 in the bottom row. So there is no 5, 7 or 9 in the puzzle because that is the only place in the top row it could go. Now we do know that every digit in the puzzle is a potential black dot digit. We're selecting only from 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Now, it feels like the next big question is, do we have all the even digits and 1 odd digit? Or do we have 1 and 3? And remember, this is only to be done if that top green cell is odd. So that is not reliable colouring. Right, if we had 2 odd digits in the puzzle, okay, then we could do this one, and this would be a 1. Yes, that would be right. The other odd digit would be here. Let's call it orange for odd. It would be in one of those, in one of those, in one of these, and it would be a 3, wouldn't it? Because we'd have the 1 here. So that would be a 3, 6 pair. That would make this a 6, by the way. Ah, this is always a 6 then. Oh, this is not how I was expecting to solve this. Right. What I'm saying is there are 2 possible circumstances for the puzzle. One is, we've worked out already that the digits are selected from 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, the black dot possibles. Either there are 2 odds in it, 1 and 3, or there's only 1. In the case in which there are 2 odds in the puzzle, this is an odd digit in the top row because one of them is there, one of them is here, and that must be 1 given where it would then have to be placed as an odd digit. Green would be 1, orange would be a 3, and there would be a 6 in the puzzle. The orange 3 couldn't go here, it would go here, the 6 would go here, and this bottom cell, row 5, column 1, would be a 6. Now the alternative is that there is only one odd digit in the puzzle, and it's a 1, because the 2, 4, 6, 8... No, I don't know that. I was going to conclude that row 5, column 1 must be a 6 in either circumstance. Because if that was 2, 4, 8, the only even digit remaining is a 6. And that would be the one odd digit. But what I'm not allowing for is that this is a 1, 2, 4, and that's an 8, and that's a 6. Oh, I hadn't concluded anything at all. Well, I have concluded that if there's two odds, green here is a 1 in these positions. And then that's a 2 and that's a 4. And these would be 6 and 8. That would be 2. That would be 4, 8. I mean, gosh, it does work. Oh, I don't know now. This is a thinker, isn't it? Or am I just missing something blindingly obvious? One, 2, 4, 6, 8. What on earth am I meant to be doing with them? And 3. 3 is possible. Don't rule out 3. If 1 was not in the puzzle, that would be 2, 4, 8. That would be 6. That would be 3. Three would be in one of those cells with a 6, in one of those, and one of those. But there'd be no 1, so green wouldn't exist as a concept. Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot work this out. Let's take the colours out again. Although I might come back to them in a moment. I'm not really using this King's Move thing at all now. Okay, come on, Mark. Think it through, for goodness sake. If there is a 1, okay, let's work out, can this be a 3-6 pair? Yeah, that's a good question. Where do 3 and 6 go in column 1? They would have to be 3 here and 6 here. If that's a 3-6 pair, there's a 3 here and a 6 here. Now there's a 3 in the central region in one of those cells, so that's 3 and that's 6. Then what? We'd have 6s in those two positions. That would have to be 6 in column 2. And the 3s would be on the top black dot in row 3, column 1. It would have to be in row 4, column 3. I don't know. It looks perfectly feasible. Okay, maybe it's the other case that has to be ruled out. If this was from 1, 2, 4, 8, what are we learning about it then? Then, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. I keep saying I don't know, and it's because I don't. Oh, there's a geometry thing. There's a huge geometry thing. It's just a law of leftovers. Right, look at those two columns, which contained 2 sets of the 5 digits we're using. So did those two regions, and therefore these two are the same. Right, let's make them red. That geometry is going to apply to every cutoff of 2 columns in the puzzle. Those two are going to be the same. Oh, this is so bloomin' simple to see, and I just wasn't getting it. Those two are going to be the same. And this is the 5th colour. Oh, it is colouring, isn't it? It really is. And 20 minutes and I just haven't looked at the basic set theory geometry. Oh, sometimes I wonder about myself. Right, now, what is that next telling? I mean, maybe this doesn't finish it anyway, but it might do. One of those is blue, one of those is orange. One of these is red, one of these is red. What does green join to here? Ah, green is, green is in one of those 2 cells. So it's either there or it's here. So if this is in the 1, 2, 4, 8 grouping, no, I was going to say that digit must be the same as that. Don't think that's necessarily true. What if that digit didn't appear on this because it was there? It might be an 8. That would be a 4. Yeah, that could be 4, 2, 1. Okay, that didn't tell me anything yet then. This pattern is definitely correct, this colour pattern so far. Now, yellow is not allowed to touch yellow in any of these cells. So yellow appears in one of those, one of those 2 cells in row 2, one of those 2 cells in column 2, one of those 2 cells in row 5. No, I should really do it column by column. One of those 2 cells in column 2 and one of these 2 in column 4. So yellow is never in the corner. And that is down to the King's Move rule. Now, one of these is orange. That could still be odd, and it could be yellow. It would be yellow. If that was odd, it becomes the central cell, and it is a 1. So if this is odd, it's a 1. If there is a 3 in the puzzle, it's definitely in one of these 2 cells, and that's a 3-6 pair. But there doesn't have to be a 3 in the puzzle, and if there's a 1 in the puzzle, it doesn't have to be there. That is so blinking confusing to me. I'm really not getting here. What number are you thinking of, Brigitte? Is it 1 or 3 to go with 2, 4, 6, 8 in this puzzle? No, we still haven't even worked out. They couldn't both be in. Oh, lordy, I don't know. This can't be red or blue or yellow. This can't be yellow, green or blue. It's red or orange, and it's 2 or 4. And this pair is not the same as this pair. That's fairly clear. This cell cannot even be there. Ah, now that might actually be slightly relevant to something I was thinking about earlier, where I thought those 2 could be the same as those 2, and they can't anymore, because green is the same as green. Okay, that is telling me something, and I just can't work out what it is telling me. That is telling me something. Is that telling me this can't be from the 1248 family? I think it might be. 842. 2, 1. Or even the other way round. I mean, it is at least telling me these two cells can't be from these three. Both of them. Because green would have to be there and that would be in the same column as the other one. So if these are from the 1248 family, it means all 4 cells from the 1248 family are involved. If this is from the 3-6 pair, this is 3 and 6. So this has a digit that this doesn't. And therefore this is not yellow. Good Lord, that actually works. I'm pretty sure that works. If this was yellow, that would have to be yellow. And I don't think this is possible. This black dot says right, the way I'm thinking that's not possible now is this black dot is a different pair, not necessarily both digits different, but it's a different pairing from this black dot because that can't be green and it can't be the same as that. So this cell is not in that pairing. So this 2 or 4 is not in that. If that was 2, this would have to be 8, 4 in some order. Yellow would be here. And that would have to be a 1. 1, 2, 4. I've just worked out, my goodness. Sorry, I've gone on a different tack in my head for some reason. Green can't be a 3. Because where would it go in column 1? It's not allowed on a black dot or in an even cell. So green is not a 3. If this is a 3-6 pair, it's 3 there and 6 there. If this is from the 1248 family, I'm just putting that in. If this is from the 1248 family, that one, it's a different pairing from this pair, but that is different from, entirely different from this pair. If that was 2 and 4, it's impossible, because that would be 1 or 8, and that would be 2 or 4, and green would clash with the 2-4 pair. So this couldn't be 2-4. If that's from the 1248 family, this is 2-4. This is 1 or 8. Yellow might not be here. This is 2-4. This is 1 or 8. One of these would have to be 2 or 4. So this would be the extreme digit. 1, 2, 4, for instance. It does still work. One, two, 4, but yellow. If that was from the 1248 family, that would have to be 2 or 4. Because green couldn't be 2 or 4. So if this was from the 248 family, that digit would be 2 or 4. Because green couldn't be, and one of these two would have to be. Now you'd have a 2-4 pair in this column, so that would be 1 or 8, that would be 2 or 4, and that would be 1 or 8. Now, if that was the 3-6 pair, this pencil marking doesn't necessarily apply. However, then that's a 3 and that's a 6. Why can't I understand this puzzle at all? Green, I don't know, I can't fill it in. That would be a 3. That would be a 6. I still don't even know which version I favour. Oh, hang on. Have I completely lost the plot here? How did I figure out that all 5 were black dot digits? Because there was nowhere to put a 5, 7 or 9. That was why. And that did involve the King's Move rule. Maybe. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't possible. Because it would hit there. That's right. That's why there's no 5, 7 or 9. That's why we're looking at only black dot digits. Now, is that telling me something about this column? And this 2-4 pair is not reliable, because if that's a 3-6 pair, the 2-4 pair could go this way or this way. But if it's a 3-6 pair, we've got 3 in blue and 6 in green. Oh, and the 3, that would be a 3, and that would be the 3 in the bottom row. Wouldn't it? It couldn't be red? Am I wrong about that? Maybe it could be red. No, if that was a 3 and that was a 6, 3 would be blue. In the bottom row, it would go there, and then it would be there. If that's 3 and 6, 3 is in these positions that I've just marked. Six would be green and would have to be here. Oh no, but yellow would have to exist. Yellow would have to exist in this. Can't work. I mean, it's complicated, but it can't work. So the reason, if this was 3, 3 in the first column would be there. 3 would be blue and it would go in these cells. 6 would be green. And in the final column, that green 6, which would be here, here, and here, would be there. And that would be 6. I'd have now highlighted all 3s and 6s. Now the problem that I've got is there is no such digit as yellow, because I've got rid. 3 can't be yellow because it's not appearing in yellow in column 1. And it can't fit in, and 6 can't be yellow because it's green. And yet there is a yellow digit based on the King's Move rule. And weirdly, that proves that 3-6 is not in the puzzle. Well, 3-6 is not in that black dot. There's no 3-6 black dot in the puzzle. There's a 2-4 pair here. And these pencil marks are now right. and it doesn't finish the puzzle, but we've still got to have a yellow digit in the puzzle. Now, is this the same 1 or 8 as that? I think maybe no on the yellow digit principle. But now I'm not sure, because the 2, 4 that goes here could be there and there and there. Then 1 and 8 would be different, because you'd have this sequence of green, yellow, yellow, the other digit out of 2 or 4, and not green. In fact, green, these two 1 and 8s are different now, because that's not green, and it is 1 or 8. And there we go. Now we know 1, 2, 4, 8 are in the puzzle. I was going to say, and that makes this corner cell a 6. But I don't think that's necessarily true. Green, however, is 1 or 8, so it's not in one of those two cells. We've just worked out it's not there by geometry, so that is green. And now we know that that's an 8, because that cell has 1 or 8, and that cell is 6 or 8, and it's got to be the same. Wow, I've finally put digits in the puzzle. It's extraordinary how long that has taken me. And I really think I've missed some absolutely blatant thing. But anyway, we progress, we progress. 1, 2, 4, 8 and X here. I don't know what digit this is. I do know it's 3 or 6 actually, because we've worked out there's no 5, 7 or 9 in the puzzle. Now, this is odd. This yellow digit is 4 or 1, because that's where it has to appear in this column by the rule. What is blue? It's not 4 or 8 or 2. So it's either the funky new digit, 3 or 6, which would then have to be in one of those even cells in the corner. Or blue is, it's not what, 4, 2 or 8. It could, oh, blue is not 1, 2, 4 or 8 in this region, perfectly simply. So it is the funky new digit, 3 or 6. Now it has to go in one of these places in the corner, and therefore it has to be even, and it is 6. Right, so I know where 1 goes in this first column. That's probably been very obvious. I know, and again, this is just due to the odd even markings. Again, in column 1, 1 can't go in the square, so it goes there. In just do it, Mark. Now that's a 1. Where does 1 go in the final column? And it is in the center, and it is yellow. And these ones are not yellow. Let's get rid of the coloring there. Let's make these full yellow. Now we know where 8 goes in row 4, and therefore where it goes in row 2. And I am finally going to finish this puzzle, which should not have been this difficult. I've just been really, really bad at it, I think. Now, I say I'm going to finish the puzzle. I assume I'm going to finish the puzzle. I don't know exactly how yet. Oh, there's a 6 to put in there. What a 6 is blue. I've got 2 and 4 still to sort out. So let's pencil mark them fully. Oh, that's a deadly pattern, is it? Or is a shape going to prove something? Certainly the central king's move rule is no longer relevant. The parity rule is satisfied. The crop key dots have all been done. Oh my goodness, this just resolves itself somehow and I don't understand how. Is it the orange and red colouring? Yes. Oh, this is now impossible. This digit is looking at both versions of orange and red. What? I've failed. this is looking at both versions of orange and red. But I had to colour orange and red differently in the central box. Oh, Mark. Where on earth did this go wrong then? Probably all the way back here. I really liked the conclusion that that was green. This I said couldn't be green. Maybe that's no good. Could this be green? No, because that would have to be the same digit. It's true, that can't be green because on the black... Oh no, it could be. No, it can't. That can't be green because it's 2 or 4 and that's 1 or 8. This can't be a 2-4 pair and yet there must be a 2-4 pair on this black dot. If that is 1 or 8, and I really thought that was a solid conclusion, then it has to be the same as this. They have to be 8s. I mean, this was right. That was 3 or 6. It's the new digit, so that was 3 or 6 as well, and it was going up there somewhere, and it would have to be in the corner in one of those cases, so it would have to be 6. Two in the first column had to be there because it's even. 1 and 6 had to be placed there and there. 1 in the final column had to be there. That's right. I'm just clicking through what I did before. Then I decided they were yellow. Maybe yellow didn't have to exist. No, I thought once that was odd, yellow did exist in that exact pattern. It did. So that had to be 8. But now I've got this problem with 2 and 4 both looking at that cell, which therefore also has to be 8. I don't get it. I've messed up. I must have had a logical fallacy ages ago, because all of that has flowed through logically. So it was when I was thinking about these, right, it was when I was starting to think about these black dots and whether they could include 3 and 6. So I diagnosed that this couldn't be a 3-6 black dot, because in column 1 that would require 3 and 6 to be there and there. 3 would have to be the blue one. So 3 would be in these positions and there and there. I'd remember that. That was where 3 would have to be. 6 would have to be in the corner and therefore the green digit, and there and there. And now I said yellow has failed. And maybe that is wrong. Maybe yellow hasn't failed. But yellow is 3 and 6 in the final column. The possible cells for yellow in the final column are 3 and 6 in this pattern, and neither of them can be 3 or 6 in the first column. And therefore, yellow is not the same digit in those two cases, and yellow has failed. And I use that to say that 3-6 is not a pair, not a black dot pair in the puzzle. And I think that's still valid. Then I said that green is from the 1, 2, 4, 8 family. I concluded that that was green, didn't I? But is that green? If that was green, this black dot, I thought would give the same result, but maybe not. If you went 2, 4, green, 4, 8, 1 here. I'm trying your patience here, I know, but I've done something wrong and I can't see what I've done wrong. I was very keen to say that this cell, row 4, column 1, couldn't be green. And that was something to do with how the sequence of 1, 2, 4, 8 works. These cells are now from 1, 2, 4, 8. If that was a 2, 4 pair, green would be 2 or 4 up there, and that would be impossible. So this is not from 2 or 4. That's, I mean, I still think that's fair enough as a conclusion, and that therefore is from 2 or 4. This is 1 or 8. But I must have still made some mistake after this. Green is from 1, 2, 4, 8, so this is the extra digit. And I concluded that was blue, and maybe that's risky. Because it could be a 6 and be there. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe I just don't have proof of the next yeah, okay, up to this stage maybe I'm all right. I mean, it feels a bit strange. 1 is definitely an odd digit in the puzzle because now we're using 1, 2, 4 and 8. Yeah, okay, this is not wrong at this stage yet. But something then went wrong in my reasoning. I said that this couldn't be 2 or 4. No, I said it was 2 or 4. I said this couldn't be 2 or 4. I don't know what my basis for that was. I don't think that was right. Green is there and there. So one of these colours, one of these cells is the same as one of these two. No, I'll tell you what, the next thing I did was said, I thought this couldn't be a 2-4 pair. And that's true. This cannot be a 2-4 pair because both of those cells would be 2 or 4, including green, and we'd have 3 2-4s down column 2. So one of these is an extreme digit, is a 1 or an 8. If it's there, and it would have to be 8 to fit in column 1 anywhere, it would be there. But if it's not, that could be 2 or 4, there, and there. So all I know about green is all I ever knew before is it's in one of those 2 cells. It's either 8 or 2 or 4. And that is not quite what I thought I'd learned before. Okay. However, this is the 5th digit that is not 1, 2, 4 or 8. Let's give it a light blue colour now. Oh no, but I mean, it could be the same as dark blue. And it would be, if that is an 8, this would be 1, 2, 4, 8, and that would be the extra digit. But if that's a 6, that can be here. Then it can't be blue. It would, if that's a 6 and there, It has nowhere to be in box, in the central box, because it's not allowed to be blue in column 1. It's not allowed to be red in row 5. It's not allowed to be orange or green by Sudoku from row 2, column 2, and it's not allowed to be yellow by the lights mover. So that can't be 6, but this is the same conclusion I had before, isn't it? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. All I'm saying now is that's not 6, because that putting 6 there in column 2 kills off the central box for 6. So that's 8. That's my conclusion. That's 1, 2, 4. Okay, let's not jump the gun. That's now 4 or 8. Green is 4 or 8. This is the extra digit, and this is the extra digit in this region, and this is the extra digit in the column. So that is dark blue. And now dark blue does go in one of those corners because it's in this X-wing. And it is an even digit, therefore, and it is 6 in those positions. So this is 1, 8 in the row. This is 1, 2, and the 1 has to go there. And I fear I'm making the same errors all over again. That can't be 2, so it can't be 1. So that's a 4, 8 pair. This is a 1 and that's a 6. The 1s do continually go round the grid now, including we're left with 1 in the centre. And I may still be doing exactly the same errors as before. The last 6 in the grid goes here. So that's not yellow, that's blue. And now very simply, where does, well, we know where 1 goes around the grid. That is yellow. And these ones are not yellow. Now I seem to have a very slightly different problem from before, when I must have made a misassumption, if I'm still alive correctly now. So, those 2 cells are 2 and 4, and they both see that cell, 1 in the row and 1 in the region. So that can't be 2 or 4. That must be 8. And now 8 is orange, and it is not green. Green is 4. I think this is alive as a solution, and that's a 2 to complete the region. That's a 4. That's a 2. Let me just see. Does the colouring work now? 8 can be orange. 2 is red. 4 is green. And that's a 2. And that's a 4. And that has been one of the most complicated solves of a slightly complicated puzzle you've ever seen. Un jour je serai de retour près de toi. One day I will come back near, close to you. So I now think it is Brigitte, not Brigitte. And I think that's a lovely puzzle. And I think I've made a bit of a pig's ear of it, but people were very nice on commenting on Simon that he shouldn't beat himself up too much and give himself a hard time when he makes a logical error and has to unwind it. I hope they'll be as kind to me. I'm not sure I deserve it. Oh dear, what a struggle. Anyway, finished it. Finished it logically in the end. I think it was just this assumption that that had to be green that was wrong, and I'm not quite sure why I was deluded into making it. But it happened, it's over. We move on tomorrow. See you then. Bye for now.